Good night, everyone, and welcome. And for some reason, I don't have the setup in here. For some reason, that is pretty weird. Let me get you guys in here. In the meantime, I don't know why I don't have you guys in the chat. I don't even have the chat anymore. That is not cool. All right. So for some reason, something is messed up in here. I might have deleted something, but let me see if I can find it. That's pretty not cool. Let me see. Maybe I can control C this my way out of here. Not sure. Let's get to the charts because maybe I still have it up here. No, and I, dude, what's going on with my setup? I set things. All right, guys. So having some technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on. Seems like we might not have a chat today for some reason. Let me see if I can find it or figure it out fast enough. Yeah, perfect. All right, that one was fixed. All right, that was quick. We're almost there. Not quite perfect though, but that's what I think. That's good enough. Let me just alt click here. Let's see if I can fix this up. Make you guys a little bit bigger, much bigger, by the way. I think that is gonna be good enough. Perfect. All right, I think we got it. Let's go to the charts, and for some reason again it's not playing out with me, so let me just figure this out really quickly. And I think I got this. Let's see. Here we go. All right, perfect. We got things going. All right, so let me get started again. Let's get standalone. So sorry for that. Hi guys, welcome to Trade with OC. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. And what a gaming night we had yesterday. And also I just looked at my camera and it is horribly positioned. Let me just move that. There we go, much better. All right, perfect. And well then, what a gaming night. We did 1-for-1 on trades, and afterwards, well, I did close the Ethereum short. It started just ranging on me, and for some reason it's also out of place right now that I was looking into, but whatever. I think that was a very good experience. Also, I think we can just follow along on the YouTube. Let me see if I can just bring out that stream from what was it, Saturday, right? Saturday night. And also, guys, hopefully you can get set up the codes that I send you guys, and so we can do some more gaming. Just in case you didn't know, guys, I gave away a total of 3 or 4, 2, 3, 4, I don't quite remember, Xbox Ultimate memberships that end up being for you guys, so we can go and play some games all together. Hopefully you guys have got it. By the way, throughout this couple of months, I might be giving away a couple of other ones so we can do some more gaming. But other than that, let's get started with you guys. A lot of chatting today, but let's get started with username. What's up, brother? Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. He says, "Oh, CSR and one of my besties." Of course, brother. Mutual sentiment right there. All said, what's up, brother? By the way, I see you add me to, well, I couldn't find the way that you add me to Xbox. Let me know. DM me. We have a direct DM maybe after the class so we can figure it out. And well, we get set up for next Saturday. Also, I'm thinking of changing the gaming session for Friday. So Friday, setting up first the trading class as always, and then after the class, straight up try to hunt some real-time trades while we game. Maybe we go into the 5 minutes, just or into the 2-3 minutes, just to keep track of those things. But yeah, all set in the house. We also have Duality C. What's up, brother? By the way, guys, if you want to join and participate for that free membership, remember, you don't need an Xbox. It is cloud gaming, so it gives you access to a bunch of games, not just Halo that we were playing out that day, just because it was popular. But we'll see maybe a couple of other stuff. I have in mind something like Mario Kart. I know there's no Mario Kart, but there is a how's it called? Sonic Racing Team or something like that. It's also pretty good. It's kind of like a copycat of Mario Kart, a little more simple, but also works fantastic. So maybe we can do that. We also have JR. What's up, JR? By the way, JR was the only one that was able to join me in live trading. Thank you so much, JR. Really, really appreciate it. They kicked our asses. We tried to defend ourselves, but at least we did good on the trading zone. So, I mean, that was good still. So we also have Crypto Coin Mindset. What's up? Shuby or Shuby 751. What's up, Jesse? What's up, Jesse? Long time no see. What's up, my friend? I know it's very late for you. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time here with me. Really, really appreciate it. KDGT, what's up, my friend? Welcome. Welcome. OCCCM Raid. What's up, CCM? Welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. Really appreciate you guys. Crypto Battle, what's up? Dylan VA, what's up, guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. So let's get it. Let's go to the charts really quickly and let's see where we left out, shall we? All right, so this is a piece of what we went through. What was it? Saturday. So we did a giveaway. By the way, all said, oh my God, what a luck that you have. He went like what was it? 3 times in road? 3 times in road. So that was very fantastic, to be honest. Or maybe I just didn't know how to use this thing. Nonetheless, all set. We need to get you all set, by the way. There you go, all set, getting that free membership. But what I want to go, it's all over here. Wait. There it is. And we're looking for an Ethereum short. I want you guys to notice here. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. And where we were at, right around, there we go. What is it? What does that say? Monday. But that is because I think it moved on me. All right. Let's go to Ethereum chart and you'll see that it's very, very different for some reason. And I want to go back to where we left out so you can see how we trade that. That was Ethereum Tether for our Binance. All right, let's go check that one out. Perpetual. Oh, I see. This is a swap contract. Let's see. What is Ethereum? I knew it was not right. Let me see. Do we have a Ethereum hit? Here it is. All right, perfect. So this is where we left out. We had that double top. We were coming back down. I decided to, there we go, to open up a short. And well, what happens? We were slightly on profits. That's basically at the end of the show. It was just not moving through the next couple of hours. Take a look at that. At 8 p.m. we were all the way right down here, closing the short. The show was over. Move your stop to entry. For even if you didn't know about this, remember what is our strategy? First candle, both wick and body in profits in the green. We move our stop to entry and then, well, we let it go. Next candle here takes us out at no gains by strategy. Just so you know, I did close it out somewhere around here as the show was over. Perfect. Couple of other stuff that we've been seeing here. Solana, a little bit of a mess in here, but let me just get things out of the way here so we can take a look at what's going on. And by the way, guys, remember that we took a look at WEEF and also what was the other one, if I'm not mistaken. We were talking about Solana that day. Remember, we actually, there we go. I think we visited Solana. That was Binance Ina. All right, so basically, and where is it? Where is it? Come on. Pretty bad gaming session. Let's go to the trading stuff here. There you go. Bitcoin for our Bitstamp. No, that's fine. Let's go, I think, at the end because I did give a brief summary of the trades that we were looking into. There we go. Pengu. Let's take a look at how Pengu played out. So basically that played out very, very nicely. Another one was Solana. That, well, you know how that ended up. So let's go take a look at Solana. But this is Solana. This should be, what is it not? I see this. It's Solana. Come on. Where are you, Solana? All right, well, you know how that ended up. That was fine. But again, this is something I want to bring up. Look at this trend line that is going on in here. All right, let me zoom out a little bit in here. We had a breakout, beautiful breakout, support. All right, where is that support coming from? Well, then at that time, there you go, support and resistance at our support. And then bounce back up, creates a double top. Let's bring up, of course, this is our prime oscillator pro. I just added it because we're going to be using it today. What we're having right there, we're coming back down. Look at that, having some less strength. And then off we go, losing the neckline into our dynamic reactor. What are we expecting on the dynamic reactor? Bounce off. How far off? I would say to the next resistance in here, which is our VRVP. All right. Maybe we can even do a slight retest to this bottom part right here. How would we know? Well, we need to take a look at what's going on right down here. Something important is that we're losing strength, all right, and we're turning bearish, all right. So bearish with less strength means, well, much of a bigger or better bounce. So I am expecting to get somewhere around here for then maybe create a lower high in here, all right. So keep your eyes on your oscillator. I think it's going to be leading the way, especially when we start seeing our tiny candles somewhere around here. Remember, this is what we're expecting for then bounce up and then a continuation downward. So I believe we could be looking something like this, all right? Coming back down. Look at that, your tiny candles coming up for a lower high. You see how that's what the same thing that I'm looking for in here, all right? And finally, a breakthrough. All right, so breakout continuation. So also remember, tomorrow we have some numbers being pushed out there. So things might change for tomorrow. I'm expecting a little bit more lower movement for today, and then a little bounce tomorrow morning before the meeting. So just be careful in there, right? So shout out to Crypto Mindset. How's it going, brother? We also have Week Wife 2 Top here in the chat. Welcome. All right, so let's continue, because LDO today in the morning we talked about LDO, a possible entry. It's now finally moving. All right, let's go to LDO and see, we have it right here. LDO, perfect. Let's open it up, and we had, there it is, our entry. Very nice entry, a quarter of a position coming back into the trend line. And guys, I was explaining this on the Piper Academy private session, all right, and Ask Me Anything session, AMA, all right. Here is the support. Oh, not that one. Here is the support that we're looking for in actual breakout. Where is that support coming from? Well, first of all, support and resistances, all right. Why is it not this one? Well, this one is actually an important support. Well, this one, this green one. In fact, not only is it an important support, we added an alert to that support to take some profits, all right? So by the way, if you caught this trade and you haven't taken some profits, look at the way or how is it moving. It's time for me to take some profits, all right? I already have done it, but remember, it's not a completely closeout. We need to leave a little bit for the future. At this point, remember, move your stop to entry. Let's do it together here. If you haven't done it, all right, move your stop to entry and then aim for the rest of the movement. What is our next support? Right down here, all right. What is the next support after that? 1.4, and finally our Hail Mary profit target at 129 or 130 ish, all right. Important. Remember what we talked about Solana, because I believe that we could be looking at the same thing, all right? Let me just get this out of the way and turn this on. All right, look at how we caught, or it went all the way up in here, all right? All the way up in here. Oh, and I know what, I just deleted the Solana thing because Solana was on the 5 minutes, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, there it is. Here it is, but we all ended up, we know how they ended up. I was just looking at this high. So it took us out before, and then, man, it actually played out. But yeah, my bad. I was just looking at the wrong time frame. But let's go back to the 4 hours. There's much to learn in there. All right. Let's go all the way back in here at the end. All right. And I want you guys to concentrate on what's going on, the pattern that is playing out right now on your screen. So first of all, we're going into a very nice uptrend in there, right? This one. All right. We have a picky here. All right, whatever. It comes back down to the support zone or to the trend line, and we break the trend line. Perfect. Let's take a look at what's going on the LDO zone. All right, let me just get rid of this. And we're coming down into the trend line. Hopefully, we break the trend line. That will be my best case scenario in here. Breaking the trend line, finding my next support zone. All right, same thing that happens with Solana. Breaking the trend line, finding my next support zone, and bouncing off, because it's not about your breakout, guys. It's about the retest, right? There we go. Hey, Jay Violet, welcome, welcome. Thank you for stopping by into the show. Really appreciate it. All right, so go back to LDO, breakout, retest, same double top scenario, and then off we go. All right. So we knew from the beginning that this trade would have been small. All right, that's why I say quarter of a position. Important. When I break the trend line, that's when I get serious. It's not that I'm gonna short it as we break the trend line. I'm gonna be waiting for the retest. All right, as we go for that retest, this is where I actually open up a serious full entry if the conditions are correct. But my eyes are glued to this section in here. So it plays out identical or very, very similar to what played out on Solana. Solana is not the only one. In fact, I know not many of you are into the hackers Discord, but in the hackers Discord, we were analyzing this same pattern, right? So I was looking at that double top, all right, that double top scenario. We were expecting that. What happens? We have a big body candle crossing through, breaking through, there we go, the trend line. It's not about the breakout, guys. It's about your retest. There we go. Retest, rejection, breaking the neckline, and off we go on that segment. All right, perfect. Right now it's playing out very nicely. If for any reason you weren't in that Discord and you took this trade, it's time to take some profits. All right, I would actually took a little bit more of that 50%. I think should be greater, slightly greater. All right. Why? Because we are about to have that maybe flip of the ribbon. And well, if we measure the double top, we already have hit predicted target. All right. So I say that, well, I think that taking a little bit over 50% could be the way to go. So boom shakalaka on WIF. Let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin. All right. Basically, remember where we left it out. So there's two things that I want to go over here. There's two scenarios. First scenario, the one that we left it out with a flat range. All right. Remember this flat range coming back down, coming back up. And then as we were breaking through, it's not about your breakout. It's about your retest. There we go. Off we go. And then acceptance back inside into the range. And remember, we learned that on our range trading, right? When we have a fake out, and once we have a acceptance back into the range, the possibilities, the chances for the price action to go and hit the other side of the range are very, very big. That applies even if we are something like this, all right? So like that, with your acceptance back into the pattern, the range, whatever. So what am I drawing these triangles? Because that's exactly the same thing happened in triangles. Exactly the same thing happens when we are sideways trading like this, and then the fake out, you get acceptance back. Well, then the chances to hit the other side are very big. And this one right here is also playing out. Where and how? Let me show you very quickly. First, let's finish this up, all right? We were looking for an early breakout. We did not take our eyes out of this. Why? Because we were expecting, based on our predictive ranges in our delta area right here, look at that, for a next movement to the upside, all right? It's not about the breakout. It's about the retest, going for that retest, and then off we go. But the next important area, it's right here because what? Because we could be having reacceptance. Not only that, we distributed half and half just in case we overshoot into, at that time, a predictive range that was a little closer. Right here, you see this blue line? Perfect. That was the line that we were looking into at that moment. So what happens? Perfect. The same idea still valids. Right, look at that. I cannot change the height. Beautiful. What's going on? Right here, we take some profits and we leave the rest for whatever it wants to do. All right. What is whatever it wants to do? Well, we have acceptance back into the range. What is the range? The red box in here. All right. Look at how that range got the first fake out. Acceptance back. We hit the top. Fake out, acceptance back, and we should be hitting the bottom unless we're looking at a different range. Let's go and take a look at that that exact same possibility. Look at how, all right, look at how, in this case, let me just minimize this so we have a much bigger overview, all right? Let me just get rid of this, of course. Let me turn this off and turn this one off. Perfect. I think this is going to be much better. Let's also get rid of this so we have a clean perspective. Look at that. We were expecting this movement, all right? That is nothing new. Here it is. Breakout, retest, and then off we go. But look at that. Your range is different. Not only is it different in here, we're also seeing the first signals of a bounce right now. Is it for sure? Not right now, because we can still go a little lower. If we start seeing pumping back up, this is where we jump back in, right here, when we jump back in into the long position. In the meantime, I'm looking at the best possible scenario. Have we hit it? Not just yet. If they start bouncing up, I follow and catch the trade. Not that I'm running after, I'm just planning for a confirmation, slightly late entry. It's not running after the price action, all right? Important, very, very important. Look at that, and let me compare it to the other zone, or to the other area. Here we go. This is, and let me just get rid of this for now, all right? Let me also get rid of this, the trades that we have taken, and how we have manage those trades for now, but it's already in the past, so let's just, I think that will be safe to say that we can just get rid of them now. All right, perfect. Look at how in here the range is flat and we have one fake out. All right, what if we are very, very extremely peaky with this top, this top, this top, and we prolong this? Look at that. We have a different range. You see that? And if I clone this, I can push it all the way down here and almost perfectly matches this low, and almost this low, right? So the same pattern is emerging, but with a slightly different result. Why? Because now we're migrating from this area of acceptance to this area of acceptance. You see that? All right. Whatever it happens, let's just control C this. So we have the two perspective ready to go because we still don't know which one is the good one. At this point, we already have crossed over this one. All right. And remember, we are in the short. We already have taken 50% out. We have our stop loss into entry. And the next thing is just to let it go in case it keeps falling downwards. All right. That's why we protect ourselves. Now we start looking at the next possibility. The next possibility it is, all right, what if the range wasn't sideways? What if the range was slightly tilted downwards? All right, so there it is. In fact, we already have it. A very dangerous trade to be taken. All right, nonetheless, this is going to be it. If I'm able to first catch the zone. So let's add an alert in here. In fact, not an alert. Let's just log this trend line. And let's add an alert to the trend line. I want to hit that trend line. If not, that's fine. I'll just wait for the bounce. All right. So, all right. So what we got here, let's just get rid of this. We already have, oh, not that one. That could still be important. Let's actually prolong this one. But let's make it a little bit less less visible right now, just for the sake of clarity here, right? So let's go, let's add it 1, and let's add it like this. Perfect. I think we got it. All right, now this one is the one I think we can just get rid of for now, because it was measuring the liquidity zone that we could still take. All right, perfect. Now that we have this, so what is going to be the breakout and retest? Well, we still can measure this trend line here. Bottom, 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 bottom. That means that we haven't lost the trend line for once. The second one, if you're very picky at the tops, we created another channel downwards. All right, so it's not about your breakout, it's about your retest, your re-entry, and off we go. All right, so what would that mean? That would mean that I would need to open up a trading here. That's what we're going to be doing. All right, my stop loss is going to be back inside the range. Why? Because if I'm going back inside, I can still close above and then continuing upwards. All right, but if I close back inside, I still have dynamic reactor that could be bouncing back up and then continuing downwards. All right, but this is going to be what saves me out of a stop loss, if that makes sense. All right, so that's how we're going to be leaving it. In fact, let's add one more alert just in case I want to be certain here, not certain of the of like that we're going to be longing. It's certain that if we hit, I'm going to get alerted. All right, so just so you know. Perfect. At this point, this is what we're going to be looking for. If this starts going up from here, perfect, that's fine. We catch the trade slightly afterwards. All right, and I think because of what we're expecting tomorrow, it's not going to be very that's going to be very positive. Well, I believe that we could also be creating a lower high, so we could still catch the upcoming short. All right, so be patient. If you did not hit this up, you are fine still. All right, we just don't want to trade something that might get us trapped. That's why we're moving with cautious. All right, so at this point we're going great. I'm using the dynamic reactor to shield my stop loss, as you can see. All right, and then if for any reason I go back down here, and then as I come back up, well, I can close my long in profits and then look for a reversal movement. All right, so far so good, I would say. Today, Monday, remember, we start looking at not trading, but looking at where we're going to be allocating. All right, let's go and take a look at Pingu. Very important. Why did we push first couple of things that I have already played? Because those were things that we looked at Saturday, Friday, and thankfully they played out. So it's now time to start taking some profits, all right, or closing your trades. Now we look into what could happen or how could it move, and that is based on Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin pumps strongly, I think altcoins are gonna pump. If Bitcoin drops dramatically, I think altcoins are gonna drop very, very dramatically. All right. Before we go that, I want to take a look at dominance. BTCD. Here it is. Bitcoin dominance. The dominance of Bitcoin has been to the upside. All right, we already are changing of facing here, although it doesn't look that promising. We could be creating a head and shoulders with a cricket neckline like this to the upside, which is not such a strong head and shoulders, which brings me some hope that we're actually going to be having some shorts on altcoins, rotating that capital back into Bitcoin. After we start pumping, we might be starting seeing people taking profits on altcoins. Why do I want to tell you this? Because now that we go to Pingu, all right, well, that is actually playing out. Our long played out fantastically. This is a short that I was giving today, still on neutral here. So at this moment, what we need to look is, all right, a fast acting scenario. So let me clear this up. All right, I'm just going to remove everything here. Let's get started from scratch. What is going on? We still have, or right now we have not only a lower high, we have a lower low, and most likely we already have created a newer lower high. All right. Not only that, we can also be looking into a trend line like this that matches onto our dynamic reactor. All right. Where are we? Let's bring up our classical oscillator. Well, our RSI prime. And where are we right here? I think that we're somewhere around here, getting closer to a reversal. But remember, we're going to be looking for those tiny candles all the way down here. Why is that? Because we're going to be catching the next leg up like this one, all right? Remember, it's not that we're going to the moon. No. But we're going to be trying to get this movement like this, all right? Bingo is still a low volume altcoin. Let's measure the best case scenario. If we're able to catch this, we could be looking at 12% no leverage. But if we add something like a 10x, which I don't really recommend leverage, but I still use it. So, all right, I'll be very hypocrite to tell you don't use leverage, all right? But do remember that you need to know and accept the risk yourself if you're going to be doing leverage, all right? Even trading. So, so far, I'm going to be looking at this low volume coin, Pingu, because I believe that we can still move downwards in here, a little bit upper, and then tomorrow maybe have the breakout. And if we can catch this movement all the way to this area right here, I think we could be golden. So there we go. Another important thing is that we can still bounce out of this zone, which we haven't reclaimed. Yes, we moved up. And we have a big rejection, so I believe that we should be having another movement to the downside. All right. All right, let's take a look at a couple of other things that we have ringed in here, like, for example, Solana. We already have talked about Solana. We're losing the neckline here. Let's wait for maybe that bounce up out of the dynamic reactor and money flow POC, which is this red line. All right, so what I want to be looking is this movement and then a continuation downwards to create this something like that. So let's add an alert somewhere around 178 ish. All right, let's go to TAO. Very nice, by the way. TAO had a very nice move to a downside. We're still in process for the bounce back up in here on TAO. So let's be a little patient in here. Something that I want to show you, it is, look at our falling knife strategy. Oh, not this one, right here. All right, our falling knife strategy or indicator is going all the way down here. That's why I'm having a big stop loss. All right, I also want it to be less than 1. How do I do that? Well, then 1/2 of an entry. 1/2 of an entry. If I can nail those two, I will be having a 1.73 risk reward ratio. All right, so that's what I'm going to be looking into. Let's go for our alerts right here, and then finally all the way down there. Perfect. I believe that we can also catch a short, and that will be a breakout retest on our trend line. So let me just get rid of this one. This is expired. Let's lock this one. And let's add a alert into it. So let's add an alert. And of course, let's go for, where do we have a possible bounce? Right here. So let's add another alert right below this area right here. You see how am I going in the middle? Right there. That's the one I want to catch, just in case we fell a little bit short of that trend line. All right. So that's what I'm looking. I only, what is it? 10,000 X with no stop loss. Vin Diesel taught me so. Love it, love it. Django, welcome, my friend. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Mike Play, what's up, brother? Welcome, welcome. Great to see you around, brother. All right. All right, so other than that, let's go to LDO. We already have talked about this. All right, it's moving into the right way, moving stop to entry, waiting for that breakout, possible re-entry. Let's go to Uniswap. Uniswap, we know how that went. Well, not that great. In here, look at that. I was expecting this one, as we already have played this out. That crazy liquidity took me in and then took me out into the same freaking candle. Well, it is what it is. These are 2 hits throughout the week. All right. So we need, as we called our wins, also we need to call our failures. And that was part of why we knew that this could happen, right? We knew it. So that's why we went for quarters of an entry. Sometimes, well, there's just no way around it. You need to take a hit. All right, let's go to BCH because we were looking at BCH forming a triangle. The triangle's still playing out, all right? So let's go and let me see, what else can I turn off? I think that'll be fine. This is the same triangle that we've been looking into. Let me actually, you know what? Let's do this more professionally. There it is. We have a meaningful range, and then here is our trend line. That trend line, let's actually make it brighter, and let's make it thicker like this. Well, I think that'll be okay. All right, like that. So we're keep bouncing. Not much that we can do here. I'm gonna be waiting. I think that we're gonna be losing it. All right, so going back in here, maybe 1 or 2 candle retracement and coming back down. So I'm still waiting for that setup. All right, so I think that will be it for today. Ethereum, well then, we know how that played out. Still pretty good. They haven't done much, but it's actually consolidating that double top-ish setup until we don't break this line in here. We can, or this neckline, we cannot confirm that it is a double top. Right, so let's add 2 alerts, one at the top, one at the bottom, like this, and let's just give it some time. We're gonna be having a move, I guarantee you, by tomorrow morning, so be careful in there. All right, guys, so far we've been going boom, 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 very straightforward to what we got in here. Remember, Saturdays, by the way, if you guys want me to move it by Friday, we can do Friday TA, just pure TA, and then we do the gaming right after the TA, and then we look for, I don't know, just gaming and try to trade live while we game. Maybe we can go into the 5 minutes and do, you know, like some gaming. And oh, come on, did I got it? No, dude, look at that. What a bad aimer. It was like, but yeah, I mean, we can move it to Friday, Saturday. Let me know what will work the best for you guys. Remember, this is cloud gaming. You don't need an Xbox, and you can always join us on the Discord, and of course add me and be part of the gaming session. I think that'll be fantastic. The Django McLeod, JR, bro, nice. All right, guys, so that will be it for me today. Let's wait for today at night. So keep an eye on your charts, set your alerts. I think maybe tonight, midnight, 11 p.m., something like that, we could be having some alerts being hit. So they might try to get you off guard, all right? But I think we can do something pretty good by tomorrow. Tomorrow, closing trades, all right? Beating or looking for a reset on trades and looking for those numbers to... Throughout the numbers came out, we're going to be looking for falling knife strategy. If you don't know how to do that, I don't recommend it, but you can go check out the falling knife strategy. It is right here on this channel. All right. So other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining. And as always, see you guys tomorrow. And on Friday for gaming, or Saturday, whatever floats your boat. Let me know.